Hello, this is Amber Rain Davis from NotableInk.com. Today I'm going to be using Altenew's Exotic Tulip Stamp, and I'm going to be creating a mum with it. So when I started creating this card, I didn't really have a clear design in mind. I had done a card with the stamp set for the release and did some watercolor stamping with it. So I was really wanting to use the layering images for this particular project. So that's what I started off with. I started off with layer stamping the leaves in some bright green. So this is the Tropical Forest ink set, and this is bamboo that I'm using here. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp a couple of these. Again, I was kind of just stamping multiples because I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with the design and whether I was just going to have a focal point, one single tulip or multiple. And look at the detail that you get with this layer stamp. I just love it. So that was the moss. So again, this is bamboo and moss that I'm using. And I want to say that's the lightest and the darkest colors. I wanted some high contrast. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the tulips now. So there's a large tulip image and then also a bud. And I'm going to be doing some rainbow stamping. I was really getting into the mood for spring. And so I'm using all bright colors here. And I'll have all of the colors that I used listed below. And there's a couple different leaves that you can use as well. So I went ahead and die cut everything out. And here's where I'm kind of deciding, okay, what is my arrangement going to be? So I'm just kind of playing around trying to figure it out. And then I decided, why not make a completely different flower? So I turned this kind of into a rainbow mum, if you will. That's kind of what it looks like to me. And it was funny because as I was stamping the flowers, I knew I wanted to use rainbow colors, but I didn't actually plan to do those two buds correctly in rainbow order. I stamped the buds last, so that worked out nicely. So I just kind of glued all of the petals together with some washi tape, and then I put on my dimensional adhesive. I find that makes it a little bit easier. So sometimes I will tack a couple pieces together with washi tape. And I decided I wanted to pop up the end of these leaves. So I'm just using some dimensional foam adhesive for that. And I should make a note of, I did this entire project. So I stamped everything on Curious Metallic Cryogen White from cutcardstock.com. I have Copic colored on that, I've ink blended on that, and I had never layered or stamped on it. And so I wanted to give that a try. And you cannot see it in this video, but it has the most gorgeous, subtle shimmer to it. It's so pretty. And I wish I could have captured it in the video and photos, and I just couldn't with my lighting. So I'm using some Parrot ink and I think this is the Swiss Dot Stencil. And I've just taped that down on a piece of that Cryogen White. And I'm just ink blending this on for a little bit of texture to the background. And what I taped the tulip chrysanthemum down to was also another piece of Cryogen White, and I had cut that out with a Honeybee Stamps Deckle edge die. So again, I'll have all the products listed below, and there'll be products on my blog post as well. So I'm just using a piece of Sticky Back Fun Foam to pop up my centerpiece here, and then we'll get that glued onto the stenciled background there. I wasn't sure if I wanted the stem to come all the way down off onto the stenciled background or to cut it right at the edge of the Deckle edge centerpiece. So I'm kind of just playing around with that. And ultimately I decided that I want to trim it down. So of course, after I get everything adhered, I decide obviously I need to add a sentiment, and I decided to stamp it just directly onto the cardstock. So I went ahead and removed the mouse pad, or if you have the black foam inside of your MISTI, you want to go ahead and take that out before you do your stamping, because we've already popped up the center, so that kind of acts as that foam piece. And I'm just wiping off the ink that's on the exclamation point. And I think I'm going to draw in the exclamation point. I find it a little bit challenging to When I've stamped that before, I ended up getting a solid line instead of an exclamation point, so I just drew that in instead. And here's the finished card. So I really like how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this and give this technique a try. Kind of take a look at your flower stamps and see if you can create a larger, more detailed flower with your flower stamps, and it just really helps to stretch your supplies and do something a little bit different with them. As I said, I'll have all the products listed below, and I'll link a couple other videos at the end so that you can check out some other projects as well. Thank you so much for stopping by, and have a fantastic day.